To the No Close Show. Hope your what is today? Wednesday is off to a good start. We are still enjoying ourselves here in South Florida, but want to make time, obviously, to spend a few minutes with you guys this morning on what's really kind of been a important conversation for a lot of people. We are still enjoying ourselves here in South Florida. It helps when I turn the speaker off. But anyway, I had Matthew Hill reach out to me a couple days ago and ask me, say, hey, Scott, what are the conversations that we should be having with asset managers on a regular basis? How do we get them ultimately to take notice of what we're saying, to actually reach out to us or respond back to our marketing? And the question is, there's kind of a fine line with communicating with asset managers, especially when you've got their email data, their email contacts, and how often you send an email out to them. Now, it's different if it's your warm network, okay? If it's your network of investors and things like that, your LinkedIn connections, those are people you probably need to be sending an email out at least once a week to, all right? Now, yes, there will be some crossover if you're using LinkedIn to connect with asset managers. You're definitely gonna have some people in there. I don't really segregate the two. I keep that communication going. A lot of the asset managers that I connect on LinkedIn, they get my weekly emails. Now that works in my favor because they see me doing other things. They see me marketing for business. They see me marketing on topics. I become an expert. When they get something that falls into their lap or comes across their plate, I'm the one that they reach out to. Now, I also have a large chunk of asset managers that we've pulled from other resources that don't get the weekly email blast or the email every other day. Those are more of a dedicated list that we market to directly for assets. Now, what do I say to those? How often do I send an email out to those? Do I follow up with phone calls? What am I exactly doing? Now, originally, I spent a lot of time on the phone with that list, knocking out 50 to 100 phone calls. Even Steph made a lot of phone calls to asset managers. Right, Steph?
I sure did.
She sure did. But what we do now isn't really a lot of dialing for dollars for the most part. It's literally the fact that we just have started to have literally branded ourselves into a lot of those. Now, yes, do we get people that unsubscribe every time we send an email out? Of course, it's going to happen. But it's a very small percentage of those that do anyway. All right. What usually ends up happening is very similar to what a lot of people here are doing. We sit, about 5-6 months of sending emails out. They start to recognize us and pick up the phone and call us. Literally had 3 asset managers reach out to me yesterday, either via LinkedIn or phone calls talking about the market, what we're looking for, what they might have available, that kind of thing. So what I would recommend that you do is pretty simple. If you're using like a MailChimp, I would be sending an email at least once a month to your asset managers, okay? Now, what I would also do is using the CRM tool that you're using, the email service provider, is once you send an email out Tuesday, let's say you send it out at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, all right? Give it a couple days and then send a follow-up email on Thursday afternoon to the group that didn't open the first email. That's going to help you. Instead of hitting 12 to 15% of your list the first time around, you'll be able to add another 5 to 8% of opens to that list of people that didn't open the first time. You got to realize, asset managers are often, especially through banks, often get bombarded with spam a lot. So they have really extensive filters, email filters, to kind of block stuff a lot of times. They also get bombarded with a lot of other things too. So keep that in mind. Is that if they don't see your email, they may check their email in the afternoons more. So by the time they get around to it, your 11 o'clock email may be buried, especially on the Tuesday one. Another thing as well is not everybody is going to respond on a regular basis. Just keep that in mind. That's just an important thing to keep in mind, that you got to hit people 4, 5, 6 times for them to start taking notice of what you're doing. So that, if you're only sending out one email and that's all you ever send out, well, you're never going to have anybody respond. Now, what do you send out in these monthly emails? What's the wording? Well, I always like to shake it up a little bit. Hey, what's my flavor of the month? What am I looking for? It's always very similar. The one thing you don't want to do is be a jack of all trades. And that's like, I'm looking for REOs and notes, commercial and residential. That's the surest sign that you're a joker broker. All right. It's the fastest way to basically unsubscribe. People aren't going to take you seriously. You want to stick directly to the notes. Hey, we're looking for non-performing notes this month or this quarter in the major metroplexes. It's a very similar email that we do. We may just say, hey, we've got $5 million in capital this month, or $1 million in capital. We're looking for portfolios in Ohio or Michigan for our own portfolio. Always, always, always state what you're looking for your own portfolio first. Last thing you want to be doing is considered a joker broker, and then kind of get removed. Now, it's okay if hedge funds send you a list of stuff and it's not something that falls into your wheelhouse, that maybe you reach out to say, hey, I'm not interested in this, but I've got an investor colleague of mine who is looking for this kind of stuff. Do you mind if I send this to him? Oftentimes, most of the time, the asset managers will be like, okay, no, I like that. That's a great, be glad to. Yeah, feel free to. Okay. I'm just looking to see if there's any questions here from anybody. So no questions. So that's the only time we literally kind of broker stuff. Now, yes, we have students that are buying stuff. We just kind of lump them under our own portfolio. But most importantly is following up. I think the biggest thing is send an email out Tuesday in the morning, not Monday, because most of them are so busy from the weekend, not Friday, because they're usually headed out for the weekend, but sending out Tuesday morning and then following up with another email Thursday afternoon. And that's the same email, just through the list that didn't open it the first time around. Now, a lot of people too will then use, depending on how big their lists are, will use those that click on the emails, because in your email service provider, you should be able to see who's actually clicked on the emails or opened your email or clicked on a link or looked at your profile, or if you put a video in there about your business and they click on it. Those would be the people that I would then call immediately. Call them that following Thursday afternoon, or call them Wednesday. That's the thing. You can always go back in, and if send an email Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, you'll see a big chunk of people that have opened your email. Those would be a hot list, I guess you would say, especially those that have opened your email multiple times. Those are the people that I would probably make a phone call to. Hey, just want to follow up with you. See that you open our email up and just want to follow up with you, personal call. Now, that's a great thing to do as well in your email. You may want to switch up. Hey, love to schedule with you, see if you had any time. I know that several funds, when they're going out to like the Mortgage Bankers Association conferences or like IMN or other places, they'll send an email out to their database. Hey, are you going to be here? If you are, let's schedule a time to talk and visit. We do that sometimes. Well, hey, we're going to be here. If you'd like to, we'll be in booth number 47 or whatever. Let's give them the calendar, visit some time. We do that as well in the past. It's worked out pretty well to schedule times. All right. Now, another thing that a lot of people can do that a lot of people don't think about is sending a just closed email out to your database. Now, if you're closing on a portfolio of assets or contract for deeds or notes or performing notes or whatever it is, you might want to create a little email that you send out to the asset managers list. Hey, just closed. We just closed on this deal. Inverse Asset Fund just closed on these 52 assets in 12 states. Total purchase price, $650,000, whatever. Send that out, because that works almost a little bit more effective sometimes than just general soliciting. Hey, do you have anything? Hey, do you have anything? That email shows, oh, we've closed on some stuff. Or, hey, this quarter we closed on a total of 45 assets. It doesn't have to be one tape. It could be, hey, over the last 6 months, the last 3 months, the last 30 days, or last whatever. That's where you might want to utilize Batch Geo to help map out the assets, so it gives you a little kind of a geographic map that people can see. That's always helpful. We always get, when I get comments back from asset managers on that, they always seem to like the fact that we buy in multiple states. Okay, that's the good thing. You may also want to occasionally send an email out once every 6 months that we do. Hey, are you the right person that we need to be stalking, or somebody else? And that usually leads to a few people forwarding over the right email to talk to. We update that in our system to make sure that we're not sending an email out to the person we should be sending it out to. Okay. Now, all it is when you have these conversations, whether you get somebody on the phone or you get somebody to respond to your email, ultimately, you got to tell them what you're looking for. And that's not the hardest thing to do. It's very, very simple. This is where having your executive summary comes into very, very good use here, because that's just basically, hey, we're buying non-performing first liens on residential and commercial properties in the major metroplexes, and really the top 50 major metroplexes, the 50 largest 50 cities. I mean, we'll look at other things, okay, outside of that, thanks to the love guys. But this is what we're looking for. We're looking for assets that are valued, $25,000 or greater. We don't mind low-level assets. We get a lot of banks that call us looking to move their high-valued assets, which that's not really what we're looking for. We're looking more so, our bread and butter is the $250,000 valued assets or less for the most part. Anything over that, we can look at a case-by-case example. We're willing to go up to 65, 70% of fair market value to purchase. Now we rarely buy at 65, 70% of value, but for the right circumstances, we'll go up to that. If it's almost an REO, if it's in Texas, it's in Georgia, California, things like that, but something that makes sense to us, we'll definitely go up to that 60, 65 cents range. But most of the time, we're buying at 50 cents on the dollar less, because that's where we've got to be at to make money. All right. So that's the thing to keep in mind. You always want to market yourself. I see a lot of people sending emails out to asset managers and they never put their face on the picture, or their face on the email, so they know who they are. On my emails, they've got my same white face, white shirt, smiling photo. They click on it, it takes them directly to my LinkedIn profile. Okay. One thing is also important. You want to try to make your emails look professional. I see some people that send an email out where there's no paragraph changes. It's all bold in one lump paragraph, and there's nothing that defines it. You got to spend a little time getting rid of spelling errors, format errors. A lot of people don't clean up their email where they have ugly photos or ugly colors. You're just like, oh, it looks like a fourth grader did it. Okay. Now, yes, your first couple of emails are going to look different every time. It's it's going to be sometimes stuff that just takes a while to get in the habit of doing things. You're going to get better with it each time, but the biggest thing you can do is just keep editing it a little bit. You don't want to, the hairier your emails are at first begin with, you want to make sure and clean those up definitely best as you can. So good times, good times. So what questions does anybody have out there as we kind of go through a little bit more of this? Okay.
Spell check.
Yes, thank you, Steph. Spell check is a huge thing to add to. Some people don't know how to spell check. Okay. And if it's your email service provider format isn't working well, copy the information into a Word doc and hit spell check on the Word doc. All right. You want to put a couple photos, but not have it be overly burdened with a lot of photos. Now, one thing that works well for us too with MailChimp is MailChimp allows you to have your different segments. And so we'll put segments in there with either video, and then at the bottom, we'll often put a picture or two or three of our different mastermind events. So they see the people that we're working with, see the people that are in the mastermind, and that actually gives a little bit extra oomph to our emails, because people are like, oh, tell me about this. It's like, yeah, we had 60 people come to Cape Coral. We had 40 people come to Napa. And we spent 3 days working on each other's business. We're serious buyers. It adds a little bit extra proof. Doesn't come across as a broker, like joker broker aspect. It adds value to the fact that, hey, we've closed 1,600 deals as a group together, or 2,000 individual note deals between the group members. That's a really strong oomph if you think about it, to adding to your value versus just being one Joe Blow who's trying to buy one asset. Okay. Now, never, never, never come out and say you're a seller's mandate or a buyer's mandate. You want to buy 25 million every month. Stupidest shit I've ever heard. All right. You overpromise and you underdeliver all the time. And then bankers can sense that on the joker broker side. They can sense it's not real. Okay. You want to act like a business. You want to know, hey, we have our servicing in place. We have our exit strategies there. All those things build you up as a potential buyer. All right. You don't want stupid stuff to let stuff go down. Now, one of the big things that you don't want to do as well, all right, you don't want to ever get caught lying in asset managers. That's the easiest thing for them to remove you. So you always want to be truthful. Don't tell them you got $1 million to fund if you got $250,000. Now be honest. Hey, I got $250,000 I'm looking to fund this month. All right. We all got to start somewhere. So don't come and say, oh, I got 20 million to do stuff if you really don't have access to 20 million or you're brand new to it. Okay. You also realize that if you have your LinkedIn connection on there, make sure you got some history about your business, or as a history about as a real estate investor at least. A lot of people will have, oh, I'm a doctor or I'm a engineer, and there's nothing below it, nothing of substance talking about them as a real estate investor. All right, nothing of substance at all when it comes down to that. So keep that in mind. You want to make sure, hey, your emails look professional. They aren't long. You don't want a long, like 12 pages. You want basically something straight to the point. Asset managers are extremely busy individuals. All right. The longer your email is, the more likely you're going to get hit spammed or just deleted. And that's not what you want. Then take a look. This is why it's also important in your headlines to understand a little bit of marketing. So have your headlines be catchy. Hey, do you have anything with any hair on it? The uglier the better. Or we bought 55 assets this quarter. Or let's help us clean up your desk or clean up your portfolio. Those are all important things that you want to share with the asset managers, the secondary marketing professionals, the special asset people to help them identify you as a true buyer. All right. Now, like I said, sending at least once a month is the bare minimum. I would do it probably once a month, and then the end of the quarter, send out an email once a week. The reason why is most asset managers aren't selling stuff on a weekly basis. They're selling stuff usually on a quarterly basis. So sending, one email, 2 emails the first month, 2 emails the second month, and then 1 email each week that third month of the quarter. Hey, what do you have in your books? How can we help you? And it's just, hey, we closed on this last quarter. We're closed on this to date. We've got this much to spend. Here's what we're looking for. And that helps out dramatically. So that's the biggest thing, everybody, is when you're having these asset manager emails, it's all about consistency. Okay? It's all about doing it on a regular basis, month in, month out, week in, week out. All right? And then using your emails to identify who's clicking on your stuff, and then pick up the phone and call on those people. You'd be surprised. They'll be like, oh, wow, okay, yeah. Now I did see your email. Now I'm interested in talking to you. But I see so many, 95, I'd say 99% of people will send an email once or twice, and that's all they'll do to follow up. They don't understand that it's a marketing process to it. Yes, it's very easy to get a tape and get bogged down in the tape and forgetting about your marketing. But you've always got to make sure your marketing is rolling forward. Okay? You've got to understand that the emails, the phone calls, whether it's that way or you're jumping on LinkedIn and connecting with people on a regular basis or messaging people on LinkedIn, which is a great place to find asset managers. You've got to do that consistently to make sure you're doing stuff long term. Because I only speak as a voice of opinion. It's very easy. You get a tape or two, and then you dive all your energy in that tape or two, working through it, finding deals, and trying to make sense of stuff. If nothing makes sense on there, then you've wasted time without adding to your marketing funnels. All right. Anybody got any questions? I see people joining on there. Good morning, minions. So I use 2 email service providers in our business. We use MailChimp, which allows you to have up to 25,000 contacts. And then we have Infusionsoft, which is the big 800-pound gorilla. All right. So what I actually do is when we upload our new asset manager list, or we export, Lane Guide connections or just Texas Mortgage Banking connections, we upload them to MailChimp and send out that way. This will help people to unsubscribe. But the beautiful thing is it's easy to communicate that way. Infusionsoft doesn't have as many unique email templates for the most part. Plus the fact is it's just easier to send an email through MailChimp with some of the things that it makes. I like the template we've been using with there for years. I don't want to go back over to Infusionsoft and have that. Now I could do that. I'm just in. That's the one really separation. Everything else we email out through Infusionsoft on a regular basis. but I like the MailChimp aspect for our asset managers and being able to reach out to them. Now, most of you don't have over 25,000 connections. I've got over 500,000 connections. So it doesn't make sense for me to use MailChimp. I couldn't use MailChimp because I'd have 20 accounts. All right. So that's the one aspect of it. I don't mind paying because literally every time we send an email out, we get some sort of connection. We get some sort of tape in. We get some sort of asset sent to it, whether it's a hotel deal or tape a contract for deeds or tape of some non-performing notes. Just sending stuff on a regular basis, and you still got to keep that in mind that 80% of sales is going to happen after the 5th contact. So that's what I'm saying. Send an email out. Maybe you follow up with a LinkedIn email as well, because you can upload your asset managers list into LinkedIn to see if you are connected with anybody. It's a great feature to have. Okay. See if they have a LinkedIn profile, and that's a great way to connect with them as well. All right. But send an email out Tuesday, follow-up email on Thursday. We can follow up with phone calls or more personal messages in between there or the following week. Hey, you sent an email last week, just wanted to follow up with you. It's a great way to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the following week for those 300 to 400 people that click on your emails the first time around. Okay? So just sharing, like I said, hey, what are you looking for? What have you closed? What do you have on this quarter? What are you looking to get rid of? Those are 3 basic topics. And then basically, hey, anything hair on it, or, you know, hey, we're buying in specific markets. Okay. Not the hardest of things to do, I will tell you that. It's just a matter of doing it on a consistent basis every day. That's what it all literally comes down to. Consistently doing this on a regular basis. Don't ever believe when somebody tells you, oh, you can't do it, you're not big enough to have banks send you tapes directly. That's literally a flat out lie. That's somebody telling you a lie so that you can buy their shit and be controlled by them. That's not the case. Banks will deal with individual investors. All right, they have to these days. They didn't have to 8-9 years ago, but in today's market, you and I as investors become regular deal flow for them. Deal flow by they get to move stuff off their books. Those asset managers, the secondary marketing professionals there, they get paid to keep their portfolio in good shape. And what does that mean? It means taking the non-performing stuff, the stuff that's ugly, got some hair on it, had some color, getting it off their books to individuals like you and me to make things happen. All right. I've been doing that for years. All right. Years. All right. You can do the same thing too. So once again, guys, we do spend a big chunk of time going through this in our virtual workshop. We actually provide scripts and other things. Our upcoming workshop here is in just a couple of weeks. All right. And looks like Nicole uploaded that. They go to virtual note buying. Go to the website weclosenotes.com and get signed up at the virtual workshop as well. We're looking forward to that. We go through scripts, we go through times, all of these share with you how we build our list of asset managers on a regular basis to get emails out. So hopefully you have a great day. Go make something happen. And hopefully we'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye.